Well, coming up after the break, it's tempting to cut corners and skimp during these tough economic times, but there are just some areas where that can get you into big trouble, like when it comes to plastic surgery, and we've got an expert in the house to share some tips coming up next. In today's tight economy, you see ads pushing products and services at heavily discounted prices, but there are certain things you should not compromise because of price, and plastic surgery is one of them. With more on this is Dr. Ali Mosharrafa, one of the Valley's most respected and experienced plastic surgeons. In fact, each year he's voted by his peers as one of the Valley's top docs. Doctor, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's an important subject, and I think a story that really brought this to light for a lot of people was when singer Kanye West's mom passed away, because it was so shocking. You don't think going into a plastic surgery procedure that you're not going to make it out.
Well, that certainly was an awakening time for all of us. Certainly it was a very high-profile case. This is surgery, and complications do occur, and this is one time where certainly it's important for patients to do their homework, to find out about the surgeons that they're considering having surgery with, and it's hard to say whether that diligence would have changed the outcome, but certainly it's something that brought awareness to all of us.
What do you want people to know if they're thinking about potentially having plastic surgery?
Well, I have to tell you, I brought some points to go over with you, and I would call these credentials and patient experience issues that should be considered. You want to consider them as gold standards, things to look at. This is surgery. There are risks involved, and so there are some points we can go over together.
Yeah, the certification issue is huge.
This is the biggest one. We ask for patients to look at something called board certification. That doesn't just mean a board that could represent another specialty. We look for patients to have surgeons that have been certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery. That indicates that the patient has had, or I should say the patient surgeon has had their complete training. The plastic surgery training programs are the most rigorous, they're the most complete, and board certification will imply that. Secondly, patients want to make sure that the procedures they're thinking about are procedures that their surgeons are well versed at, experienced at. And the patient shouldn't be afraid to ask their surgeons, how many times have you done this?
Well, I've done some investigations, and I was sort of shocked to learn that, you know, you can be certified in one area and just start doing plastic surgery right out of your office.
You can, and there are training courses, there are weekend courses. Patients aren't always aware of this. Again, going back to the certification by the American Board of Plastic Surgery, we have training that is complete. Your surgeon has to be versed in not only the procedure, but managing the complications from that procedure. So this is the experience of the surgeon, and again, patients shouldn't be afraid to ask their surgeon when they're visiting with them during consultation, how many times have you done this? What problems have you seen? Those are very important questions.
And the last few things on your list here.
Well, there is something called the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, and this is a membership that I'm a part of, and this indicates, first of all, that your surgeon is board certified. Secondly, that your surgeon is up to date on their continuing medical education, because there are requirements there. And then thirdly, that your surgeon is in good standing with your community. These are all things that are important to patients and should be reviewed before you have surgery.
Okay, now let's switch to what you say patients want to look for when they are seeking out a doctor. You want to obviously look for all of the accreditations you talked about, but also rapport is important. And I think some people feel a little bit intimidated to press their doctor sometimes.
That's a great point, Carrie. I have to tell you that I call these the patient experience issues. When you walk into the office, it should be a comfortable place, it should be a caring place. There should be chemistry between you and the environment where you're going to have surgery. Very, very important. Secondly, the staff has to be available. They have to be courteous. The surgeon should be available. That's important because, heaven forbid, if there is a need for the surgeon after hours, is he or she accessible? Are they available to handle problems if they should occur? And then finally, there are other patients that have had procedures through that office, and this is perhaps the best resource. You do want to visit, if you can, by phone or in person with patients who have already had the procedures you're thinking about in that office. And many offices, like mine, will make that available to patients so that they can share an experience, and that's the most valuable resource because they've been there before.
Okay, and your office is on 2nd Street in Osborne, you said?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and we will have more information about you and those tips, very good tips, by the way, on our hotline and on our website, azfamily.com. Doctor, thank you so much for being with us this morning. I appreciate it.
Carrie, thank you for having me.
And it's just so important, you know, no matter what medical procedure, whether it be something necessary or something that you choose in an elective surgery, that you do your homework.
Yeah, and I will tell you that over the last 12 years in my practice, whether it be cosmetic procedures or breast reconstruction, many women have benefited from these procedures. And furthermore, there's a lot of negative news in the environment now. We hear about it every day.
Yeah.
This is a good time to focus on yourself and perhaps to do something to better yourself and perhaps invest in yourself.